Good morning and welcome to what is rapidly becoming the most electrifying storyline in professional tennis right now. We are not just previewing a match. We are standing on the edge of a moment that could tilt the balance of an entire season. Deep in the desert, under the glowing lights of the Middle East, the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships has transformed from a prestigious tournament into a generational battleground. In just a few hours, Centre Court will hold its breath as two very different forces collide in a round of 16 clash that feels much bigger than its billing. On one side of the net stands experience refined by fire. On the other, youth fueled by belief. This is not hype. This is tension you can feel through the screen. At approximately 10:10 p.m. local time, the spotlight will fall on a Romanian veteran who refuses to fade quietly and a 20-year-old Filipina who has turned Dubai into something resembling home turf. Sorana Cîrstea arrives with the calm intensity of a player who has seen every version of pressure imaginable. Across from her, Alexandra Eala walks in carrying the momentum of a breakthrough that shook the draw just 24 hours ago. Yesterday she didn't just win. She detonated expectations. She dismantled a top 10 opponent and did it with the composure of someone who already belongs here. Let's rewind to understand why this feels seismic. Alexandra Eala, ranked 47 in the world and climbing fast, stepped onto court against Jasmine Paolini, a top 10 mainstay and former champion in Dubai. On paper, it leaned heavily toward experience. On court, it looked like a revolution. Eala exploded out of the gate, taking the first set 6-1 with fearless precision. When Paolini attempted to drag her into long, bruising exchanges in the second, Eala did not retreat. She elevated. The tie-break was a masterclass in nerve control. Every swing carried conviction. That victory marked her third career win over a top 10 player, but more importantly, it signaled something deeper. She has crossed the line from promise to presence. But arriving is one challenge. Staying is another. And now she faces a completely different equation in Sorana Cîrstea. The Romanian is not built on scrambling defense and counterpunching patterns. She is a flat-hitting aggressor who takes time away with ruthless efficiency. In her previous round, she dismantled Linda Noskova in straight sets, striking early, redirecting pace, and exposing movement gaps with clinical calm. At 35, she is playing with the clarity of someone who understands her identity perfectly. No experimentation. No hesitation. Just execution. This is a WTA 1000 stage. Only the 4 Grand Slams tower above it. The ranking points here can change trajectories overnight. A quarterfinal appearance can secure entry into major draws for months. It can shift seedings, alter scheduling, protect bodies from early-round battles against elite opponents. For Eala, this is about validation. For Cîrstea, it is about territory. The conditions matter. Dubai at night is a different animal. The desert heat fades, the air thickens, and the ball carries with a slightly heavier feel. Flat hitters can pierce through the court. Left-handed spin can drag opponents off the geometry of comfort. Eala's southpaw cross-court forehand will naturally target Cîrstea's backhand wing, stretching her wide and opening angles. But Cîrstea owns one of the cleanest backhands down the line on tour. Leave it short, and she will step in and punish without mercy. Then there is the crowd. Usually, tennis crowds remain respectfully neutral unless a home player is involved. Dubai breaks that pattern for one reason: community. The United Arab Emirates hosts a massive Filipino population, and when Eala plays, the energy shifts. Yesterday, Centre Court felt less like a neutral WTA stop and more like a national celebration. Every winner she struck was amplified. Every Paolini error met with eruption. Tonight, that energy will be directed squarely at Cîrstea. And here's the twist: Cîrstea might not fear it. She has played on the biggest stages in the sport. She has competed under the lights at the US Open, under the royal silence of Wimbledon's Centre Court, and in hostile arenas where momentum swings like a pendulum. Pressure does not intimidate her. If anything, it sharpens her. She can channel a me against the world mentality that fuels high-risk brilliance. From a tactical lens, the battle begins with serve and return. Eala's serve is built on placement and disguise rather than raw pace. The lefty slice wide on the ad side is her bread and butter, dragging opponents beyond the doubles alley and setting up the +1 forehand. Against Paolini, she landed nearly 67% of first serves and won a staggering majority of those points in the opening set. That efficiency must continue. If her first serve percentage dips below 60%, Cîrstea will step inside the baseline and hammer returns deep to her feet. Cîrstea's serve, meanwhile, carries heavier penetration. She can hit the T serve with authority and mix in a reliable kicker on the second delivery. But perhaps her most dangerous weapon tonight is her return. Because Eala's serve is not overpowering, Cîrstea will look to seize control immediately. If she neutralizes the serve and establishes first strike dominance, rallies could tilt heavily toward the Romanian. Movement becomes the next chapter. Eala, at 20, glides. She slides into corners even on hard courts, recovers explosively, and can extend rallies past the comfort zone of most power hitters. Cîrstea is exceptionally fit, but she is not as explosive as she was a decade ago. If rallies stretch beyond 5 or 6 shots consistently, the advantage begins to lean toward youth. If points remain under 4 shots, experience and flat pace likely dictate the script. Mentally, both face different storms. Eala must guard against the emotional hangover that sometimes follows a career-defining win. The adrenaline surge from defeating a top 10 player can leave the body heavy the next day. Resetting focus becomes crucial. Cîrstea's challenge is opposite, entering a stadium that leans heavily toward her opponent and maintaining composure if momentum tilts early. Their head-to-head record adds subtle intrigue. Cîrstea leads 1-0 from a clay encounter 2 years ago in Madrid. But hard courts in Dubai offer a new geometry. Clay blunts flat power. Hard courts amplify it. Yet they also enhance the slice and angle of a lefty serve. This is not a rematch. It is a reintroduction. So what unfolds when defiant experience meets accelerating belief? When a Romanian veteran fighting to protect top 32 territory clashes with a Filipina rising toward the top 40 and beyond. Tonight, center court becomes more than a rectangle of painted lines. It becomes a stage for a question that defines every era in sport. How long can the present hold off the future? If part 1 was about the stage being built, this is where the lights get hotter and the margins get thinner. Because once the warm-up ends and the first ball is struck, theory disappears. What remains is nerve, timing, and the brutal honesty of a scoreboard. The Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships does not reward sentiment. It rewards execution. And tonight, execution will determine whether Alexandra Eala's surge becomes a movement or a moment. Let's go deeper into the anatomy of this match. The first 4 games could shape everything. If Sorana Cîrstea holds comfortably to open, lands heavy first serves, and keeps points under 4 shots, she plants a psychological flag immediately. It tells Eala, and the crowd, that yesterday's fireworks will not intimidate her. But if Eala breaks early, if she cracks a return winner or threads a backhand down the line to ignite the Filipino faithful, the atmosphere could tilt into something volcanic. Momentum in tennis is fragile. In Dubai, it can become overwhelming. Eala's left-handed geometry remains central. That cross-court forehand into Cîrstea's backhand corner is not just a rally ball, it is a strategic wedge. The spin drags opponents wide and opens the inside-out forehand lane. But here is the risk. Cîrstea thrives on early contact. If she anticipates the angle and steps in, she can redirect down the line with stunning cleanliness. Her backhand is flat, compact, and explosive. Leave it short, and the rally ends in 2 strikes. That is the knife edge Eala must walk. Depth over flash. Patience before power. Physically, this match carries hidden layers. Eala's youth grants recovery speed and elastic defense. She can turn defense into offense with a single sliding retrieval. But youth can also mean emotional spikes. If she strings together unforced errors, will she rush? Will she overpress to silence doubt? That is where her training background becomes relevant. Years of discipline at the academy in Mallorca ingrained a simple philosophy: suffer with purpose. Stay in the point. Build the rally. Trust the process. Tonight, that mindset may matter as much as any forehand. Cîrstea, meanwhile, carries the mileage of nearly 2 decades on tour. She has survived coaching changes, ranking dips, injury layoffs, and the relentless churn of new talent. At 35, She understands match management at a granular level. She knows when to slow tempo before serving. She knows how to disrupt rhythm between points. She knows how to protect energy across long exchanges. Her recent resurgence is not sentimental nostalgia, it is tactical refinement. She has trimmed unnecessary risk, sharpened serve placement, and committed fully to first strike tennis. The return games could define the arc. When Eala serves, she must disguise patterns. The wide slice on the ad side cannot become predictable. Mixing in body serves will be essential to jam Cîrstea and prevent full extension. On second serve, height and spin must replace hesitation. Cîrstea loves stepping inside the baseline and flattening returns deep. If she pins Eala behind the baseline early in rallies, the Romanian controls territory. Court positioning in this matchup is everything. Whoever commands the center stripe dictates geometry. Now consider the emotional currents. Yesterday, Eala rode a euphoric wave after defeating Jasmine Paolini. The danger of such highs is the subtle come-down. The body feels heavier. The mind drifts. Champions separate themselves by resetting within 24 hours. If Eala steps onto court loose, smiling, and energetic in the opening exchanges, it signals maturity beyond her years. If she appears tight, gripping the racket too firmly, the veteran across the net will sense it immediately. Cîrstea faces the inverse test. She walks into a stadium that may lean 80% toward her opponent. Every Eala winner will erupt. Every Cîrstea error may draw noise. Managing that external pressure requires emotional insulation. But here is the intriguing twist. Cîrstea has historically responded well when doubted. There is steel beneath her composure. If she strings together early winners and quiets the arena, the psychological flip could be dramatic. Silence can be louder than cheers. If this match stretches into a deciding set, conditioning and crowd synergy tilt slightly toward Eala. Youth recovers faster. Energy compounds. But if Cîrstea finds rhythm and shortens points, she can close in 2 ruthless sets before the emotional tide builds. That is why serve percentages in the opening hour matter so profoundly. A few percentage points could swing the entire narrative. Zooming out, this contest represents something broader within the women's tour. The current hierarchy remains strong, yet beneath it lies a transitional struggle between established veterans and fearless newcomers. Matches like this are not just about ranking points, they are about momentum within that generational tug-of-war. Eala symbolizes expansion, the globalization of tennis influence beyond traditional powerhouses. Cîrstea embodies endurance, proof that experience still commands respect. There are ranking implications layered beneath the drama. A win could push Eala closer to the top 35, granting direct main draw access and seeding advantages in upcoming tournaments. For Cîrstea, maintaining top 32 territory protects her from early round clashes against top seeds at majors. At 35, that protection preserves longevity. These are not abstract numbers. They are career-defining margins. Watch the changeovers. Watch the eyes. Watch who breathes steadily at 30 all and who rushes at break point. Tennis reveals truth in micromoments. A split second late on a return. A double fault under pressure. A fearless forehand into a narrow window. The player who embraces those moments rather than survives them will walk into the quarterfinals. And beyond the tactics, beyond the analytics, there is the human pulse. A young Filipina carrying the hopes of a rapidly growing tennis community. A Romanian veteran defending 2 decades of labor and belief. One chasing ascent, the other protecting legacy. Under desert lights, those arcs intersect for 2 hours that could echo far longer. So as the players step into the tunnel and the hum of anticipation swells, remember what is at stake. Not just points. Not just prize money. But narrative. Identity. Momentum. When the first serve flies and the crowd surges, everything we have dissected becomes raw competition. No hiding. No safety net. Just ball, court, and will. Tonight, Dubai does not simply host a match. It hosts a reckoning between present and future. And when the final point is struck, one story accelerates while the other regroups. That is the beauty of this sport. That is why we watch.